Good morning, everyone. I think it's still morning. Calling the Thursday, April 28th board meeting to order, and we'll do a roll call.
Charles Black Lance.
Here.
Kevin Boyles. Tom Hageland.
Here.
Ruth Nelson.
Here.
Jana Shogren.
Here.
Sarah Spear.
Here.
5 of 6 present.
Thank you. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And again, this meeting is being conducted in accordance with Minnesota statutes. And it is being recorded, and people may monitor it from a remote location, and the recording is available on our website. So we start with approval of the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second. First from Director Hagelin, a second from Director Sjogren. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And we have no public input as this is a special board meeting. Our next public input will be at the May regular board meeting. Next up is the consent calendar. Do you have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
First from Director Blacklands, a second from Director Spear. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll go right into new business. First up is approval of the Brainerd School Resource Officer Agreement. I'll have Marcy talk about it, and then I also have a note to read since Director Boyles couldn't be here.
Yes, and I apologize for the delay. You guys could see that got that in the packet a little late, but, so the contract expired at the end of last year, and we changed the format with Baxter's SRO agreement in 2021. There was a standard template for the League of Minnesota Cities that we used, and our legal advised that we change that. So he actually had a template that we used with the city of Baxter. That template was forwarded on to Brainerd, and then they had questions and concerns about some of the changes. So it's been a lot of back and forth trying to figure this out. So what's presented before you is agreed upon by both parties, and both legal teams have reviewed. And some of the major changes, so it's defining a lot of things. The previous agreement was 3 pages, we're to 6 pages now. So there's definition on what the duties are and what a school day is. We are actually specifying a lot more than we had in the previous agreement. We're trying to lay that all out so that we don't have any misunderstandings with if we have something come up, if that makes sense. It is a substantial increase from the prior agreement. It's an 11% increase, but that's to be more comparable with Baxter. That is right in a line. Baxter, we are currently paying $83,884. So you can see they're right in line together. This is a 2-year agreement, and we are well into this year and would go into next year. And then this agreement is also paid with Safe Schools funds. So even though it's a substantial increase, those are restricted funds that we can only use for cameras, our security. So, and that fund balance is doing fine. So just so if you're concerned about that increase. I think I covered everything that I wanted to go through. Is there any, and one other thing that we added was that the district would be able to give input on the selection of the SRO. That's in number 3D. The district will be able to have an opportunity to provide input before a new SRO is assigned to the district. I know that was one of the concerns.
And who would be involved with that? Is that?
Andrea, Principal Rusk.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just read what Kevin sent. And this, I think he sent this maybe before he received the contract. So maybe some of his concern about additional might be alleviated after reading the contract. Kevin, as you fellow board members are aware, I have been doing a fairly deep dive in the school resource officer positions, not just in our 2 schools that have one, but across the nation as well. While there is somewhat of a trend in removing these positions from schools, my ultimate conclusion after my research and discussions with our site leaders is to support the continuation of these positions at Brainerd High School and Forest View Middle School. Therefore, I also support the SRO contract as presented to the board today. One concern that I would like to see addressed, however, is the lack of written policies and procedures for how the resource officers are to interact with ISD 181 staff. I was unable to discover anything beyond what was written into the actual agreements presented today. I believe that we should have more guardrails around that interaction, if only to make it very clear what the district's expectations are. The lack of these presents certain potential risks to the district if or when an SRO acts independently in certain cases. I do not feel that this needs to be addressed in the agreements themselves, but could be drawn up and presented to our resource officers as well as any subsequent individuals that would come into those roles. Thank you, Kevin.
And one other thing, our legal, they actually provide a training on how to use your SRO, and they did recommend that we follow through with that training, so hopefully next year we can have Principal Rusk and the admin team have that training and then potentially invite the SRO into that as well.
I think that'd be a great idea, yeah. So the only other thing I ask is that after Kevin gets a chance to read those, if he still feels there should be more procedures developed, we should discuss that at a later date.
Okay.
Okay. Any other?
Question is, this position, it's through the city, of course. And is this position, is it revenue generating for the city, or is it straight up, this is what it costs to hire that officer?
In the past, they have said that they are actually losing money on this
Okay.
contract. With the amount that we went up, I don't know if they are still losing, but I believe it's either neutral or still losing.
Okay, thank you.
And is that grant money held on the school district side or the city side, the schools?
Schools.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, first from Director Spear, second from Director Blacklots. Any further discussion? Thanks for all your work on this. Took a while, but.
Yes, sorry.
It's good, so. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The agreement is approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marcy.
So next up, we have Angie Bennett with our information on an early retirement memorandum of understanding.
Hi, folks. You get me for two things, which I know is very exciting to you all. First one is the memorandum of agreement, a one-time early retirement incentive. So this is something that we have discussed in the past, kind of throughout our contract negotiations, and kind of once we were looking at the budget for next year, we thought it would be helpful to introduce it again to our certified staff, and they were in agreement with that. So we kind of drafted this memorandum of agreement about the terms of who would become eligible, the number of qualified positions, and all of these funds would come directly out of OPEB, which currently we are overfunded in OPEB, so really it doesn't have a financial impact. It's a high dollar amount. So when you do consider, we would take up to 18 teachers at a $25,000 early retirement incentive into the HRA. All of those funds would come directly out of the OPEB. And that fund is healthy enough to absorb that cost. But it would give our teachers an incentive to, retire if that's what they so chose. And so we're currently in that process. We had an original agreement with a deadline of this Friday. And then we recently kind of went back with the MB and have dropped now the age for the eligibility, as we weren't getting as much interest as we anticipated. And so we have kind of a tiered level effect. We do have the original due date with age 57, due date this Friday, and then we are allowing anyone age 55 or over with 20 years of experience at Brainerd through next Friday. And then if there's more than the amount allowed under the MOA, then we would do it by seniority. And it's kind of all tiered out. So just bringing that forward for approval.
And Angie is comfortable with that we still have enough funds in our OPEB for the
Yep.
entire process? You are, okay. Okay.
Marcy has given the thumbs up. all the
Marcy,
way.
I'm sorry.
So, you know, I think it's a good option for some of our teachers, just to give you kind of an impact on our longstanding employees. Going 55 with 20 years of service in this district alone is over 50 teachers. So there's we have tremendous certified staff that have been very loyal to the district. And so just kind of noting their commitment to that. And this would give some people who weren't possibly, you know, getting the rule of 90 another option to be able to retire if they so chose. So we wanted to support that.
Does this need to be a roll call vote at all?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
We brought it to the board because of the substantial dollar amount. A lot of times we don't bring MOUs or MOAs directly for discussion at the board, but due to the financial amount, we wanted to be sure that everybody was in agreement.
And we're going to be losing due to this some very
Yes.
high qualified teachers that we are going to have to work
Yep.
hard to get the right people in the right places.
Yep.
Yeah, that we are doing.
I'll move to approve the MOU as presented.
A second. First from Director Hagelin, a second from Director Sjogren. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay,
Thank you.
oh, here's the resolution.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So the next one, the situation that has occurred over the past few months is we were informed by Further that they were being acquired by Health Equity. In that transition, they are no longer going to be serving VIBA accounts as of September 1st of 2022. So therefore, we were looking outside to see if there are any other companies that could service all of our plans, our HSA, our HRA VIBAs, as well as our FSAs, dependent care accounts, so we're not continually breaking off and having multiple providers. And so we did determine that we'd like to move forward with MedSurety. As part of doing this transition process, we have to have a resolution come to the board because we do need to transfer the trust over to MedSurety. And so that's what you see attached in the board book. It's just allowing that shift.
I would make a motion to approve the resolution to transfer a voluntary employment beneficiary association trust to MedSurety as presented.
A second.
Okay, we have a first from Director Sjogren and a second from Director Blacklands. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do roll call.
Since Mr. Boyles is gone, I will not call his name. Tom Hagelin,
Yes.
Ruth Nelson,
Yes.
Jana Sjogren,
Yes.
Sarah Spear,
Yes.
Charles Blacklands.
Yes.
All present are in favor.
Okay, thank you. So the
Thank you.
Resolution is approved.
Thanks, Angie.
Next up, we have a bunch of policies. The first new one is a new one, and it's going to be Candace Burkhardt to discuss. Okay. I don't know if I've met her before. Yeah.
Well, greetings, Board of Directors, Chair Nelson. I would love to introduce our district nurse, licensed school nurse, Courtney Hogstead. So she will be talking today about the 2 board policies that are up for first reading. Yes, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Courtney.
Thank you. There are no recommendations to changes of policy 530 that you guys have, immunization requirements. This policy does align with the MSBA, MASA guidance. However, the attachments A, B, C, D are now attached to that policy.
Okay. And the 518 also, no changes. I maybe
Same
said
thing,
that.
yeah, no recommendations to changes of the DNR, DNI 518 policy.
Okay. Any questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve number 518 and 530 as presented.
Second.
First from Director Spear, second from Director Hagelin. Any further discussion? So this will probably just be a two-time? Okay. Okay, well, thank you. That was easy, huh?
I want to make sure you got to meet Courtney.
Yeah.
She is,
Buildings.
Yeah.
she's been a great addition to our district.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Wealth of knowledge.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Great to meet
yeah,
you.
thank you for spearheading all of that.
Yes.
Because it's a big change, yeah. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Then we have second readings that Tim Murtha is going to.
We'll see if Tim does as good a job as presenting.
No pressure.
Start the clock now, 11:46. Second reading, policy 325, no changes since the first reading.
I would move to approve the second reading of policy 325.
Second.
Okay, we have a first from Director Sjogren, a second from Director Spear. Any discussion? No comments from any public matters? Okay.
Nope.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Same recommendation, second reading for 520, 521, 521 form, 527, 527 form, 529, 529 form. There are no changes to text from the first reading. No comments have been submitted about it.
The only question I had is on comments. How do we get those? Is it just generic emails, or if we were to get outside comments?
So we have a communications email that's manned all the time, so a lot of
Okay.
people reach out to communications. I would guess 9 times out of 10, if there's a comment, sometimes 2, they're calling directly to Janet.
Okay,
So we can.
They get
track-
forwarded to me usually from Janet.
all right, thank you.
Good question.
Good question.
Do you have a motion?
So move.
I'll second.
First from Director Hagelin, a second from Director Blacklands to approve the second and final reading of policies 520, 21, 27, 29, and their associated forms. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
11:47.
Okay, you can see on the agenda all of our future meetings, lots of dedications, lots of fun coming up with our seniors. And graduation day, just wanted to let you know that I did add on that sheet where we're arriving, a place where you can say if you're attending for each of the graduations too, so that might be helpful, so we know which board members are attending.
Can I add 2 more graduations to your list?
Yes.
Okay, so on June 2nd, just a reminder, we have the LEC graduation, which will be in the LEC gymnasium, so that's gonna kind of be an historic time for all of us
Yeah.
with the changes coming. So that's at 2 p.m. on Thursday, June 2nd, and then our Brainerd Learning Center graduation will be at 4 p.m. here in the Tornstrom Auditorium. And then one other request that came from Superintendent Larson was with the upcoming dedication to Harrison. One huge shout out, Charles, you did a great job at Lowell on speaking, so we're very grateful for that. But we're looking for hopefully a board member who'd be willing to speak next week at the Harrison dedication. So if you're willing, email Superintendent Larson, she'll get you on the schedule. Okay.
I thought I saw that at least a couple were at least attending. Oh,
But I think now it's just confirming who would like to speak, and if you want to play rock, paper, scissors, or.
You get like 35 minutes to speak if you want.
But that was a request, she just made sure I make note of, to present to you so you can be in communication with her as well.
And those other graduation dates are on that spreadsheet too, so, yeah. Okay, wonderful. We'll figure out who's gonna speak between who's attending. So if there's no more business, which there can't be, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. First from Director Blacklands, a second from Director Sjogren. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 11:49.